What if I told you that globalization created massive winners and silent losers at the same time? Over the last few decades, global inequality has changed in ways that surprised even economists. Let's take a closer look at who won, who lost, and why inequality looks so different at the global level and within individual countries. The data tells a clear story about how incomes around the world have changed over the past decades, and we can see who gained the most from global economic growth and who gained less. The biggest winners are two groups. The first is found in the lower and middle parts of the global income distribution. Apart from the very top, this group experienced some of the strongest relative income gains worldwide. People in these percentiles saw substantial income growth. In percentage terms, their incomes increased more than those of almost any other group. This mainly reflects fast economic growth in emerging countries like China, India, and Indonesia. Many of these people moved into better-paying jobs and achieved higher living standards within a short time. However, the very poorest, especially in parts of sub-Saharan Africa, saw much smaller gains. Their incomes started from extremely low levels, and economic growth reached them more slowly and unevenly. They are not clearly visible in the curve, but other data show that progress at the bottom was slow. Even so, rising incomes worldwide helped reduce extreme poverty. As we move further to the right, the curve drops. This shows a group that benefited much less from global growth. People between roughly the 70th and 80th income percentiles experienced little real income growth. Many of them live in rich countries such as the United States, Western Europe, or Japan, and belong to the lower or middle class there. Their incomes stayed almost the same, even while incomes were rising quickly in emerging economies. At the very end of the curve, income growth rises sharply again. This is the global top of the income distribution. The richest people in the world saw very large income gains, far higher than anyone else. Overall, the figure shows that global growth created clear winners and losers. Strong relative gains in the lower half of the global income distribution, excluding the very poorest, weak growth for many people in rich countries, and extremely high gains at the very top. So far, we have focused on inequality at the global level. But inequality is not experienced globally, it is felt locally. When we shift our focus to what happens within individual countries, another important story emerges. Looking at the Gini coefficient before and after taxes and transfers for 6 countries, Australia, Brazil, China, India, Sweden, and the United States, 2 patterns stand out clearly. First, market inequality has increased over time in most countries, particularly in the United States, China, and India. This indicates rising dispersion of incomes generated by markets alone, even in economies with very different institutional structures. Second, the extent to which governments reduce inequality varies enormously across countries. In Sweden, taxes and transfers substantially compress the income distribution. While market inequality is comparable to that of the United States, net inequality remains far lower. This reflects the strong redistributive role of the welfare state. In contrast, countries such as India show much smaller gaps between market and net inequality, indicating more limited redistribution through taxes and transfers. As a result, high market inequality largely translates into high disposable income inequality. Australia occupies an intermediate position, with moderate redistribution that reduces inequality, but less dramatically than in Sweden. Overall, the figure highlights a key insight. Differences in inequality across countries are driven less by market forces alone than by the strength of redistribution through government policy. Countries with similar levels of market inequality can end up with very different levels of inequality in disposable income. Global inequality tells a complex story. Some people have gained massively, others have barely moved, and a few have been left completely behind. But whether inequality leads to social stability or social tension depends largely on political choices, not just market forces. And that, perhaps, is the most important lesson of all. We've seen that globalization created both winners and losers. But this raises a deeper question. Why did these outcomes emerge? And could they have turned out differently? In the next videos, we'll explore the causes of inequality, its economic and social consequences, and the policy options that shape its future. If you find this series useful, feel free to like the video or subscribe for the upcoming parts.